I don't stutter alone. It's amazing, but that's the #1 comment I receive to my videos and kind of a question that I receive when I start interacting with people who stutter. There is something mysterious about that. Why I don't stutter alone, and then all of a sudden I do stutter. Just give me a second, I'll read you this comment. I don't stutter that badly. When I'm anxious or when I try to prevent stuttering, I stutter more. I think that I need more psychological help than speech therapy. And that's the theme that I see over and over again. And even though oftentimes it goes as a comment, in fact, it is a big question. So why does it happen? And do we need like a different treatment, or what can we do about that kind of stuttering actually? If you still don't have a definite answer that satisfies you, stay tuned. So first of all, why does it happen? Why I don't stutter alone, or I'm mostly fluent alone or in some comfortable environment, and I stutter only in certain settings? And the answer to this question is, if you think just a bit about speaking, what is speaking actually? Speaking, it's not only articulating sounds and producing some words, that mean something. If you think about speaking just a bit, you would find that speaking mostly is a response to the speaking environment, to the situation. Speaking, in fact, comes from the situation of meeting somebody else. I see you and I say hello, or I see many people and I say something as well. So speaking is a response to that speaking situation, speaking environment that we're in. And that response goes on several levels. Like, one is our mind. We start to think what to say. There are hundreds of thousands of words. So we need to think how to put them together, how to structure our speaking. Another level is emotional. So we think how to react to that setting. The third level is just the vocal cords. They work here, right? The fourth level is the whole breathing system, because speaking is breathing out air. So all these levels, they work together, all these processes, they work together to respond to that situation that we are having right now in front of us. And which factor, which level do you think is the most important? The emotional response is the most important one. Because if we go back to nature and take a look at animals, how they behave, facing another living creature always bears danger. Now, we're intellectual species. When you go outside, we don't expect like wild beasts to chase you, right? But there is still something in our blood, in our nature. And we have different dangers in human world. Like, what if they laugh at me? What if I won't look so good? What if I'll say something stupid? What if just everyone will see something about me which I don't want to reveal? We can name many, limiting beliefs and fears that we have inside that replaced our fears that we had thousands of years ago. So it's not about our physical danger now, but about our emotional state. Our emotional state is in danger now. Okay, so we'll get to the speaking environment, and we respond somehow, respond to that speaking setting. And all these processes, the vocal cord, the breathing, the mind thinking about the words, and our emotional state, they work pretty much together at a very fast pace. There's just a moment and we articulate what we want to say. The response, our speaking as a response, goes just instantly. We don't have any time to think much about it, analyze our emotional state, our breathing, our vocal cords, how do they work, are they prepared? It goes very, very much automatically. And stuttering is just a way to respond to that situation. That's how our speaking system worked once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, it got to our memory, our emotional memory. That's how we respond to that situation. People react to that not in a very good way, so we shrink because it's an uncomfortable setting, so we don't want it. We don't want other people to look at us strangely. We don't want other people to try to correct, to laugh, to bully. So that creates an emotional background for that response, and that emotional background becomes part of that response, of that speaking response. And stuttering becomes an automated pattern, a state we get into each time we face a speaking environment or certain speaking environments. So it's like a program works automatically. We're pressing a button, boom. If, then. If we have a setting, then we have this response. Okay, now something is clear about why it happens, why I don't stutter alone and I stutter in that speaking setting, speaking situation, or at certain speaking settings. Now, the next question, what can we do about it? And do we need to act somehow differently from the speech therapy? Do we need to approach that psychological or emotional piece somehow differently? We can tell ourselves 100, 1,000 times that we need to relax, we need to go slower, we need to do something differently. Does it change anything? Not much. There is no point in telling ourselves to do something differently until we are not different. To respond differently to a speaking situation, speaking setting, we need to change that program that we're having, that automated pattern that launches that state that we get into. And once we get into this mode, the stuttering mode, we respond automatically in a certain way. And this response is associated with tension that covers our body and vocal cords and breathing system as well. So how do we change that program? How do we change ourselves? The only way to change ourselves, that program that we're having, is not tell ourselves to do anything differently. The only way to change our pattern, to change that program, to change me, is to create new experiences. Now, how do we do that? Well, there are different ways. I'll give you just one example that we use inside the Improve program, which is free. You can find the link down below this video. So what do we do? And that's basically the principle that I used in my own therapy. We dismantle our speaking and start with the very basic thing, which is relaxation. So we try to relax. We learn to relax, basically. The balloon exercise, going from tension to relaxation. Where we want to get to in our speaking, turning tension to relaxing speaking. So speaking should be associated with relaxation. Not only, in the pauses in between, the very act of speaking should bring relaxation to us. We use that so-called hand technique, where we extract sounds using our hand, okay? Again, you can go down below this video, there's a link, Improve program, get inside, everything is shown there, and it's free. So what happens? We learn a skill. We can say something in a relaxing way. And then with this skill, we go to our real life. So we're making a real life phone call, and we use that skill, okay? So we use that relaxing and confident speaking in that setting, real life setting. This way we create a new experience. Relaxing speaking, confident speaking, it goes to our muscle memory, our mind and body as a whole, and our emotional layer. They all get this experience, okay? And it starts to create new part of you, or new you if you wish. It starts to create a new pattern that automated pattern that we want to build, new program, new state, that how we feel, our, again, emotional layer, emotional state. How do we respond to the speaking environment? Yeah, and you might say, Andre, but Ed Sheeran, Bruce Willis, Emily Blunt, they probably didn't use any stuttering technique that you're telling about. And I would agree. But if you take a look, what they're doing in their professional life, they are creating a different reality, like acting. When you act, you're someone else. You're free to be someone else. You're free to use your speaking in a different way. And emotionally, you're not responding to that speaking situation. You're playing, right? You're acting. That's a totally different environment. When you perform on stage, you also create a different reality. And they do that constantly as a profession. If you are a mild stutterer, and I have a separate video about that, and I preach about that, I say that by simply being active, by launching a YouTube channel like this one, and by creating videos, by trying to perform, by going to a debate club, public speaking club, participating in such activities can do just a lot to your speaking and to how you feel about your speaking. All I want to say is, well, creating that new reality just by being active involves a lot of effort. And oftentimes it just doesn't work. Like, okay, tomorrow I launch a YouTube channel. I've heard that a couple times. And then people start thinking, okay, so I need a camera, so I need a lighting, so I need a backdrop, I need a tripod, I need a teleprompter. Okay, I don't use a teleprompter, but still, some people might say that. And most of all, I don't know what to say, actually. So oftentimes our big decisions just stay decisions without any actions. So using a stuttering technique like this, relaxing and giving confidence using hand technique, or maybe other technique that you might be using, they get you to action straight away. Like, I can use it pretty fast, right? So you're given a tool and you can go and apply it. You can start creating those positive experiences to create a new program, new state, new mode in which you get when you get to the speaking environment. So you can start creating that new response right away. You don't need to create a new YouTube channel or become an actor or singer for that. So I'd love to know what kind of stuttering technique you are using right now to create those new positive experiences. So if you're still trying to change your response to the speaking situation, you're on the wrong way. If you're trying to create a new response by creating new positive experiences of relaxing and confident speaking using some technique, stuttering technique, you're on the right way. I'd love to know what kind of stuttering technique you are using to create those new positive speaking experiences for yourself. So please leave a comment. For more videos, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Head over to freefromstutter.com blog, where you also can find my free improv program. Join Free From Stutter Facebook group, and I'll see you in the next video.